How are we doing, guys? Bucket here. Past couple of weeks, I've been talking to you new guys about how to move on from doing all the campaign missions and ended up at tier 6 to get to tier 7 so that you're able to farm some of these new fleets and get the new ships and tech that's coming for tier 8. Along the way, we've had some confusing conversations with one or two of yous, and I can understand that it's quite hard to follow what I'm trying to say, especially with language barriers over text. So what I've decided to do is do a quick little video about how to quickly change your ships and briefly talk about what sort of targets you want to be looking at to try and get yourself into a position where you can farm these new fleets. So what I'll start with is what kind of things you want to be purchasing from this menu here when you do events. Now, before you start thinking, well, I can't get any of these points because the fleets are too hard, we'll work on that a little bit later. But what I'll do first is show you the process that I've been going through and what I've been helping people go through to assist with quick ship refits and progressing as best you can in these events. So here we have the most important thing at your stage in these events lists. All this stuff is great if you can afford it, but like myself this week, couldn't really grind to get the 15 million and wanted this ship more and the tech that comes with it, so that was my focus. So your silver and your gold boxes, these grant instant application tokens for your ships. You get a couple of free ships, your Axis ones and your Xeno ones. These here are weapons and obviously your tech. You'll be familiar with that from other ships that you've built. The good thing about these is that you can apply them instantly. No waiting, none of that, just straight onto your ship. The gold boxes are the same, a couple of ships, and some better weapons, a couple of thrusters. Now, there's different ways you can utilise these. These weapons here you're going to probably put to good use. The Xeno Eclipse Drive is quite heavy, but it does some good damage when you're trying to farm a couple of the targets that can help you progress. But we'll cover that when we get past the shipbuilding phase. So straight onto the shipbuilding then. Build your ships bare. Build them naked. That's the best way to move forward. So here's a Valraven that I've managed to build. It's naked. Nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. So we come to refit it. Now, what we want on this Valraven is to match it with these ones. So as you can see, it's got these new guns, a bit of a booster for the weapons, and then ship hull, ablative armour, and thrusters for it. Now, I don't actually know if this does affect these, however, this is quite a good bit of tech, so whatever I do replace it with would pretty much be a free refit. But I'll show you that later. So your ship here, let's concentrate on the weapons. Now, I want them weapons on. But if I was to put them weapons on it now, it's going to cost me 6 hours per gun. 18 hours isn't too much, but when you then throw a thruster on there and some tech on there, so we're not going that. I don't think it affects it. I need to rejig that one. There. Put that on there. Because of the weight, you can't fit too much on this one at the moment. Carapace goes on there. It's now overweight because of this one, but we'll put something else on. Scrap that for now. So, as you can see, if you was to put all the decent stuff on that you want on the actual ship itself, that's a pretty good build. It's basic because of the weight restrictions, but it's going to take 1 day and 22 hours. The reason I'd suggest getting these silver and gold boxes is because it gives you free application, weapons, armors, tech. So if we go back to the weapons, these are all the weapons we've got. Obviously these talk and say your instant application. Let's find something that we're not really going to use. Obviously you have to worry about the restrictions to the ships depending on which weapon it is, because some things can't be fitted on others. So let's go with this here. So this is a level 3 rupture beam. Now at the moment I've no use for something that gives me 90 DPS. So this is just going to sit in my hold like this and this. So what I'll do is I'll show you the method with a level 2 one, just to start off with. So as it says, it comes up with a message saying it's going to be invalid range, so it's not actually going to be able to fire. So it would just be an ornament. It wouldn't be any use. Don't worry about that. It's a means to a better end. You apply the weapon to the ship, come back on, go to your refit. Now, these weapons that we wanted were 6 hours. These ones here. We put that on there, 6 hours. However, if we replace what we've already got on, we now have basically 4 hours and 50 minutes knocked off, because the technology that is already applied to the ship is considered when replacing it with something else. Obviously the better tech you put on there, the more time it's going to take off. If I was to put one of the level 3s on there, it would take that off. It would be a free fit. It would be an absolute free fit. So I'm not going to do my 3s at the moment because I can probably better use them later for something else. But this method can be used more than the once. You can do it for all the things you need. So I'm going to put all these on there, and I'm then going to go on to this, and I'm going to go for, let's see what we've got here that's free fit. Now I know my thrusters are, but I don't want to apply one of these yet. So if I didn't have anything like this, what I could do is put a thruster on, do the instant build, and then replace the thruster with something else. I'll show you what I mean. So if I was to put, we'll do it at level 1 because I've got lots of them. I put level 1 on, free. And I can see it's annoying because you have to come in and out of the refit, but it is definitely worth it, trust me. So although we've got this one now, so let's put one on. But this means we can't put this on now. We can't put this level 3 on, which will give us a good speed because we've already have a thruster in place. But what I want here is going to be these spectral warheads. So it's fast-tracked my build, and I can put something decent on there for a lot less time. 4 hours and 12 minutes deducted from that. So essentially what we've got is a 1.5, nearly 2 day build, which is going to be dropped down to something ridiculous like maybe 12 to 18 hours, which means a lot easier to build and refit your ships. So if I was to have built this ship, that's a day. Add on the refitting, that's 2.5 to 3 days. You can't decrease the time that it takes to build a ship, but you can definitely decrease the time that it takes to actually refit it. So rather than having a 3 day build, you bring it down to a 1.5 day build. That means instead of having 2 ships per week, you can drop that down to 6 ships per week. Very efficient if you want to, for example, get the new ships, like I've done this event weekend, and then have a full fleet of them ready for the next weekend so you can farm the other stuff that you need from them. But this method's really useful. The only problem is it's very rare that you get free application armor. You'd have to farm them. And you're looking at about 150 items. 150 frags per item, sorry. So unfortunately, at the moment, there's no real effective way of decreasing the amount of time that it takes for your armor. But your armor is always going to be the quickest thing anyway. So what I always tend to do is, if I can get my armor to be around about 8 to 9 hours, this is what I'll refit when I'm sleeping. This sort of stuff, because I can do it so quick, I'll do it instantly. Especially if you've got a fleet that you want to attack that you don't really need this ship to be up front. It's got the great range. So if you want to use this in a fleet, like for example, I'm going to attempt it with my Orator farm, my Sovereign can do that on its own. But if I had 3 of these that have got pretty much the same range that just hug the bottom of the Sovereign, they're just going to wipe out that fleet a lot quicker. I don't need them, but it's more efficient. So if I was going to do that, these are never going to get hit. They're never going to even get shot at. So I don't need this. I just need these and the range. Something to consider. Something you might be able to utilise when you come to this stage of the game. So I'm going to start this ship refitting now, because I've got my other 3 in my Orator farm fleet. I've got this one, this one, and then my actual Sov that's going to be doing the bulk of the damage. Actually, no. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to maybe try and refit these, because now that I've noticed that the tech that I've put on them doesn't actually affect them, which is a big schoolboy mistake. It's pretty useless. So let's have a look now. What can we replace this with that's going to be of use? So these are Nova drivers. So that's not good. And these are the kind of things you want to be figuring out. Like, I've noticed that and it doesn't work. So I need to figure that out. Restricted. Applies to missile. What is that then? Driver. Okay, so we want something driver related, or the orange element to actually do some decent damage. Other than that, you're maybe going to be looking at getting some of this stuff to help your ablative armor and recharge your shields and health as best you can. The problem with these old tech applications is that the weapon mass that's added becomes so much that it's hardly worth even having it. So for that reason, I'm probably going to want to change this out for some magnetic collars. The ship's mass goes up, but 8% we might get away with it. And we do. And as you can see, what I've said to you before, this is a free refit, because what I had on there was a decent bit of tech anyway. So it's like for like. So if to put a number on it, for example, if this technology was a value of 10 and what I had on was a value of 5, then I'm going to have to wait 5 on the build. But whereas this was a value of 10 and what I had on it was a value of 10, it's equal. So it's like for like. Now this is great. Ablative armor is awesome. Your recovery is great. It devours the armor, puts it back on your ship, keeps your ship strong, keeps them working, keeps them in the field. Okay, I've not got any extra damage on my missiles, on my weapons, sorry. But at this moment in time, do I need it? Don't know. Can I squeeze another one of these on? Nope. Can I squeeze another one of these on? Nope. Not at this moment in time. What I could do? No, you can't have resistors. Can't put resistors on. But this method that I'm showing you guys has really helped me get these 4 Val Ravens into the field and being able to use them at a very quick pace. That's a free refit. That ship's now good to go. All I need to do is do the other 2. And these three are going to have good defense, decent range, good damage. I mean, these have only got 3 weapons on them and they're doing 2,400. Compared to these 3 weapons here that give me 234. These are never going to get used. Compared to these, you're always going to choose them over that kind of weapon. So why not stick them on there and make it an hour wait instead of a 6-hour wait? It's just a no-brainer. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to drop these out because I want to take these into battle in a second. And I'll show you how I've been farming the orator, and then if anybody wants to ask me how the build is, then I'll show you through that as well. Once I've changed this, the only thing I would like to change off is this. I want to get one of them sunder thrusters on there, but yeah, it's not really been something I've been too bothered about at the moment. But what I'm going to do, I might have balled this up, but we'll see. This here could be a lot lower, like when I was talking about values, this could be 8 compared to what was 10. So that might also lower the refit on this, but we'll just have a look. 7 hours. As opposed to nah, it's just 7 hours. So this doesn't affect the refit of this as well. So I'm going to leave that for the time being because I don't want to wait 7 hours for these fleets. I want them now. These are alright. We'll get into the battle with them and see what we can do. Now I'm only going to do this attack the once, give it a quick run through, and then what I'm going to do is stop the video because I'm conscious it's been going on for about 17 or 18 minutes now, and that was just for the refit. What I'll do then is I'll create another video and we'll talk about another piece of advice which could help you move on and progress in the upcoming events. It's a bit late for me to be giving you this advice because from what I can see, the events have all changed and the fleets have all changed. But once the clan has figured out the best ways to do the farming, we will together build some videos and some advice and make sure it's readily available for you all to look over and then ask us any questions if there's something you don't understand. So this is the fleet that I'm going to go and use against my orator, hence why it's the orator farm. Now, Commander Burr is not great for this. Your commanders play a massive part in your fleets. He's an energy commander. He isn't going to help these. He'll help this one. So do I want him that with a bonus, or do I want these with a bonus? Now, he's been helping the Sovereign take down the orator pretty well. But this guy needs upgrading still. And he does a lot of extra damage as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video there and then I'm going to start another one and we'll set this fleet into action and see what we can get up to.